Alrighty. Hello, welcome back to the stream. I'm trying to stream to Twitch at the same time here, and it was working, and now it's not. So, hello Luca, hello Abo. So this stream is going to be a little bit of a test here. That's why I was a little bit late. The preview screen was on too long, but I don't know why my Twitch stream is not working. I'm gonna try to start it up again. Any case, I guess we'll just wait. Riveting, waiting here. Hello, Cammy. Welcome to the stream. Let me see if I can get Twitch started. It's just not working. Okay. Well, I spent all this time getting this set up. Is this not going to work? Twitch.tv/Firebelly. Let's see. Am I streaming? It says I'm live, but it's just not showing. Is the Twitch stream playing for you? It's not playing for me for some reason. Oh, there it goes. I can see it now. Not 100% sure, but for the Twitch policy, you shouldn't show a chat that is not from Twitch. Is that true? Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll have to look that up then. Okay, well, if Twitch is gonna be dumb like that, then I guess I'll just stop the Twitch stream and I'll figure that out later. I don't know how I'm gonna do my stream chat then. If that's the case. That's so dumb. Anyway, I guess we should just get into some work and not try to fix this right now. Well, Twitch is just not, it wasn't that great of an experience anyway. It was like really difficult to get all the stuff set up. All the settings are hidden behind like 5 different nonsensical menus. There's ads everywhere, there's pop-ups everywhere. It's like a garbage website anyway. No offense to anyone that likes Twitch, but it's just absolute garbage. Not that YouTube is much better, but... Alright, anyway, let's go ahead and do this. So, we've got a goblin that loots for you. That's what I'm going to be working on today. Basically, it's going to be a player passive you can get where there will be a little goblin that's going to run around and collect things for you so you don't have to. So things like gold and runes and health and so on and so forth. Never liked Twitch for the same reason. Yeah, it's just so cluttered. I don't know what it is, but... And I can't show YouTube chat, so I can't even multicast. I spent a good chunk of this afternoon figuring out how to get like the dual cast working. The multi-stream and got it working with an OBS plugin, and then it says, oh, you can't show YouTube chat. So it's like it defeats my entire stream here. I wouldn't be able to show chats on screen. Anyway, we'll do this. We'll just stick to YouTube for now. All right, so let's do this Goblin. Okay, I'm gonna base this off of the bodyguard here. So now you guys are gonna have YouTube icons next to all your comments in the chat. That's all right. So I've got a bodyguard here, and I'm gonna be loosely basing the Goblin off of this bodyguard because it's basically what I need to do is all in here. So let's go ahead and do that. Scene, new scene. Character body 2D. Let's call it a loot goblin. Bam. And I'm just going to copy a couple things. So we got an animation player, run. Okay. So that's for our bodyguard. I guess I'll just copy. I don't need a health component. I do need a shadow component and probably visuals, but I'll do that later. So velocity, path, find, shadow, those are the things I need for sure right now. And then let's copy this collision shape 2D. I like the run animation. Yeah, all of my animations in this game are like super basic as an attempt to keep the workload a little bit lighter. Then the game I'm going to make after Gunforged is going to have even simpler animations, believe it or not. Like, I just find that it's so easy to get hung up on like art and everything, and it's very easy to create a massive workload for yourself. So I'm very, very much trying to avoid all of that. Because I'm trying to finish games, I'm not trying to... By the way, I just found you last night. I'm on my new Godot game dev journey, and your videos are such a good resource. I love the way you explain things. Oh, thank you, Cammy. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm glad that you're finding my videos helpful. Let's see if this works. Let's see. I'm gonna feature your comment. Nice. So yeah, just know that your comments are at risk of being featured now in the stream. Did a little bit of setup this afternoon on that kind of stuff. Figured that would be nicer when I'm responding to comments specifically. I can put them up on the screen in big form. All right. So we got our loot goblin. I'm just going to use a placeholder texture for now. Maybe we'll get to the art in this stream, but I think that the scripting is probably going to take a lot of work. So if I'm looking at the bodyguard here, there's a lot of script in here. So we've got some state machine stuff. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to yoink all of this. And we'll start with that as the base. Script. Okay. And this is a loot goblin. We'll bump this up. Follow range squared. We're going to have a follow range. We're going to have a path find component, velocity component. We are going to have an animation player, but not yet. So let's get rid of that for now. We don't have a visuals node, so we'll get rid of that. We don't have a health component, so we'll get rid of that. We don't need is dying. We don't need intercept tween. State machine we do need. State normal, state idle. We don't have a state intercept. So let's do a state machine. We probably want to do another set of states. So let's change this to state follow enter state follow. And then let's do another one, state machine dot add states state loot. And we'll just keep that for now. Idle, enter state idle, okay. So enter state normal, we can get rid of that. Remove hit interceptor, I don't know what that does. We don't want those things though, that's for sure. Okay, enter state normal. And state normal, so we need a target position. So state normal is, yeah, we'll get the player target position. We're gonna set the target position and we're gonna follow the path. Velocity component, move this, that's good. Visuals.scale, we will do that later. There we go, okay. Enter state idle, we're going to want to play that animation, but that's fine. Velocity component, decelerate, target position, change state, state normal, cool. Enter state intercept, we don't need any of that, and we don't need that, and we also don't need that. Okay, so we do need state follow. So let's change this to state follow. Let's change this to enter state follow. Now we need a loot state. So we'll set the state follow to the initial state, and let's create those loot states. Private void. State loot. And we need a... We're gonna need a way to acquire loot positions. Now there's a ground pickup timer, ground pickup component. I think ground pickup component is what we need. I think this is going to be... This is not added to any sort of group, so probably gonna want to do that. Ground pickup component, so maybe we'll do this dot add to group in here. And that's going to allow us to show or find all the items essentially that are going to be picked up. So loot goblin. So what we need to do is let's create a method, private vector2 acquire target position. And we'll say, let's just say var, well, this dot, let's do get tree dot get nodes in group, and we're going to get the nodes in group for ground pickup component. Okay, so we're going to get all of the ground pickup nodes, and then we'll do this. If, let's return a vector2 nullable. If items dot, if not items dot any, then we're going to return null. Otherwise, we need to sort this. So we're going to say var, we don't actually want to sort. We're just going to do a straight up loop. So var closest item is equal to, let's do this. Ground pickup component closest item is equal to null float closest distance is equal to float dot max value. Okay, for each var item in items. Hello, Kendra. Welcome, welcome. So for each item, what we're going to do is we're going to say if item dot global position dot distance squared to is distance squared to our goblin's global position is less than closest distance squared, then we're going to say closest item is equal to item and closest distance squared. Let's store a variable to that. So var distance is equal to this. Let's call it distance squared. Okay, and then we're going to return closest item dot global position. Okay, cool. So this acquire target position is basically going to get all the items that have a ground pickup component, and I probably want to actually I want to filter them out. So we're going to filter where it's not currently being picked up. And then we want to call trigger pickup when we're in a certain range, I think. Although I could just add, let's see, in the player, there's like a player pickup area, I think. Activation area? Player activation. I have to look at the ground pickup component. What layer is this in? This is in player activation. Okay, so I could add to the loot goblin. I probably could just add an area for that. So let's do an area 2D. Let's change the collision to that player activation. Although, now I'm thinking that that's probably going to do the interaction area component as well, right? Yeah. Alright, never mind. We're just going to manually trigger it, I think. We'll figure that out. We'll figure it out. Anyway, so the loot goblin... So we've got this acquire target position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a timer. And this timer, I'm going to call it loot acquisition timer because we don't want to be checking all the time. I'm going to do like a 0.2 second wait time. Like so. So let's create a reference to that timer, private timer. Or no, this is a loot acquisition timer. Okay, and we've got the loot acquisition timer, so we're gonna connect to that loot acquisition timer dot timeout plus equals on loot acquisition timer timeout. The big name. What we're gonna do in here is we're gonna call acquire target position. Let's store a reference to it. Private ground pickup component, ground pickup component. We'll return a ground pickup component instead. Acquire target. We'll just call it acquire target. Cool. So then we'll say, I guess instead of returning this, we can just say, we'll just assign all of that in there. So it's a little bit nicer. Okay, so when that timer times out, we're going to have acquire target. And what that means is that if we're in the idle state or we're in the follow state, we need to change the state. So what we need to do is we need to do if is instance valid ground pickup component. And also let's do, before I forget, private void leave state loot. I want to have a leave state where I set that ground pickup component equal to null. Okay. I'm gonna add this up here too. Null leave state loot. Okay. So if is instance valid, ground pickup component, then we're gonna do state machine dot change state state loot. And then we'll do the same thing in the idle state. Okay. So in the state loot, what we're going to have is we're going to have a target position. So first we need to do another check. If not is instance valid ground pickup component, then we need to state machine.change state to state follow. And we might as well just return out of that. Otherwise, our target position is going to be equal to our ground pickup component.global position. And then we can set all of these things. So pathfind component set target position, pathfind component follow path, velocity component dot move. Perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say if global position dot distance squared to ground pickup component dot global position is less than mathf dot pow. Well, let's do this. Private const int pickup range squared equals, let's do 20 times 20. Then what we're going to do is we're going to call ground pickup component dot. What am I going to do? Dot trigger pickup. Yeah, that's it. And then I'm going to say state machine dot change state to state follow. So it's going to trigger that pickup, and then it's going to leave the looting state until it picks up another target, and then it will go and pick that one up. And then when I leave that state loot, it's setting the ground pickup component to null. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. So this should be as simple as, how does the bodyguard passive work? Get down, Mr. President passive. So, oh, I see. Yeah, it's in charge of spawning them. Okay. Well, I think there's an easy way I can test this, which is I can go to my dungeon level here. And I can just put that loot goblin, I think, in the entities. Where am I going to put this? Entities, here we go. Loot goblin. All right, let's see what happens. See if the loot goblin works. Ooh, lots of errors, lots of errors. So there must have been some errors when I pasted these things. Pathfind component, yeah, velocity component needs to go there. Okay. Oops. Just forgot to wire some things up, that's all. Okay. Now I need one of these guys to drop some gold so that the loot goblin can go pick it up. There's gold, go get it! Yeah, you got it! Did you see that? Look at that! Nice, my little pink square doing work. I like that. Okay, I'm gonna see, I wanna watch him do some more work for me. Go get the loot, my little loot goblin. Yeah, it is exciting. Thank you, Luca, for the €1 donation. I very much appreciate that, or super chat, I suppose. Let me feature you. Boom. Got the new chat feature functionality. Thank you, thank you. Very much appreciate that. Did anyone see any goblins get, or any loot get picked up by the goblin there? I don't think I wasn't paying attention. I was distracted by the generous super chat there. Ow. Go get some gold, please. Go get some gold. Gotta drop some gold first, I suppose. Where's all the gold? Come on. There's some gold. Go get it. Yeah. I love that. Get the rune. Yeah, he got me a rune too. Look at that. That's so cool. I didn't see any gold drop that time. I haven't looked through all your devlogs, but did you do the art assets? I did, yeah. Everything in this game, with very few exceptions. So like, here. I could point you one thing that I did not do, which is these mouse icons here. Oh, I'm pointing at my screen, but anyway. The mouse icons with the, you know, left click, right click, or the keybind icons like the left shift and control. I didn't do those, but literally everything else, yes, I did by hand myself. Except the font, of course. The font is, you know, some kind of font that I'm able to use. Okay, so Loot Goblin is looking great. I need to change this, though, to floating and then collision. I think that really it only needs to be the player's layer, mask, terrain, and secondary terrain. I don't think that's super necessary with the Loot Goblin, but I'll just go ahead and make the masks the same. Thank you, Cami. Yeah, I appreciate that. This is like the first time I've made a major effort in doing my own art, and it's been challenging. There's been a lot of times where I've set out to draw some things and they just look terrible, so I have to scrap them. But I think I'm getting better at art, which is good. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a passive working now for the Loot Goblin. So we got to go and create a passive, I believe. Yeah, so let's create a passive in here. Create new resource. Player passive resource. We're going to say Loot Goblin. Okay. Let's type in a title. Loot Goblin. Summons a loot goblin that will loot on your behalf. Let's summons a goblin that will loot on your behalf. There we go. Max stacks 1, feature tags. We don't have any feature tags, so that's fine. And let's save that. Oops. Save that. And now I need to create a loot goblin passive node. So where is that at? Component passive, create new scene. We're going to make it a type of node. Yeah, just regular node. Loot Goblin passive. Okay. And I'm going to model this after the Get Down Mr. President passive a little bit. So I'm going to copy this script and paste it here, basically. Okay, and I don't think I need... Well, let's rename this to Loot Goblin Passive. Okay, I don't think I need that. I do need the Loot Goblin scene, though. Respawn timer, I don't need that. And I probably actually don't need the scene attribute here or this notification. So we'll get rid of that. On occurrences changed. Right, so I actually don't need to listen to that, or this, or that, or this. So really, I just need to spawn it. So, loot goblin. That's fine. Add the child loot goblin. Cool, and then we don't need to connect to that. All right, well, I copy and pasted the script and then ended up deleting 85% of it. Whatever. I didn't know how much I was going to use, but I think that's basically it. That's all I need to do. And so now I need to go to the player passive table manager, I think. And let's do add initial table item loot goblin, I think. Int weight equals 1. Let's make this weight a huge amount so I can see if it works. And of course, we're going to go to the dungeon arena and we're going to remove that hard-coded loot goblin here. So now we're going to see if that whole flow works now, if I can select a passive for that loot goblin and then have him spawn in. Oh, that's not going to work because I forgot to set the loot goblin scene here. Okay, now it'll work. Now it'll work. I should have turned on wave debug mode. Oh well. Gotta redo this screen too. I gotta get better at like more abstract effects, I think. Loot goblin. Summons a goblin that will loot on your behalf. All right. And there he is. Okay. Well, I think your code is much like a code of an app, not for a game. What? I'm not sure I understand what you mean, Abo. Why I think your code is much like a code of an app and not for a game? Yeah, if you want to clarify that question. See if I can give you a good answer. Ooh. Okay. I just want to see this loot goblin go to work. Little pink loot goblin. Should I just leave this art in place? No, I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that. Go get it. He's just going and collecting things for me. That's so cool. I mean, you're like making an app, not a game. Well, I mean, I guess I could see why. Why you would say that. Yeah, I mean, this is like, I mean, I don't want to say that my code architecture here is necessarily good, but I think that, you know, if you implement sensible patterns and you write your code with clarity, then yeah, your game code is not going to look much different than like a software application, like a, you know, business or a business application or a tool. I think that's just how it looks. Now, I don't think this game's code is the cleanest, but I think there at least is a clear separation of concerns between the major pieces of functionality such that, you know, I mean, I just implemented a loot goblin. What has it been? It's been like 40 minutes, and I implemented a loot goblin with all the behaviors and stuff because I already have a framework for building that stuff into the game. And so, yeah, I think that's probably why. I'm going to change some things about this loot goblin though. I don't want the velocity component to be... I don't want him to be as fast as he is. And acceleration coefficient, bump that up to 7. I just want to give him a little bit of a different behavior. Software engineer, yeah, I mean, I'm taking my software engineer experience for sure and applying it to games. I think what I would say is that if you come from a software engineering background, you're probably going to be coming at writing the code for games in a different way than if you've been writing code for games. If you learned how to program by writing code for games, you're probably going to have a different style than somebody who applied their coding skills mostly in like a software engineering position. That's not to say either way is necessarily wrong or right. It's just, I think you'll definitely see a difference in style and approach. So what am I doing? Oh man, what am I doing? Oh, that's a good question. Okay, I'm just gonna go into the game. I think I want to spawn the loot goblin. So I think I can do that with my little debug menu here. Add passive loot goblin. Boom. I like that loot goblin a little bit better. He's a little bit slower, lags behind a little bit more. I might even lower his speed even more. That's why I'm drawn to your channel when it comes to getting into game development. I'm a product designer trying to get into programmer's mindset, and it's not simply enough for me to watch tutorials and go through them. So far, I've seen super useful things like composition over inheritance video like you did. Yeah, I think that's super helpful. Yeah, and Godot is different enough too from like traditional ways of making games. Like my experience in Godot is much different. I came from Game Maker really, and so the way of scripting your game objects in Game Maker was very different to what was available in Godot. It took me a while to figure out like, oh, this composition based thing, like it can actually work really well. Wow, that DPS is crazy. Got the crazy bubble gun. All right, but the loot goblin is feeling good, so I think it's just about time to do some art for him now. What is your favorite roguelike game? That's a good question. Favorite roguelike game? Well, the game that I've for sure put more time into than any other roguelike is Tiny Rogues. So Tiny Rogues is a huge inspiration for this game, but also it's going to be somewhat of an inspiration for the game I want to make after this. So I guess I would have to say Tiny Rogues. What is another roguelike game that I was playing a lot of? I don't remember. I've played a lot of the most popular ones, like Slay the Spire I've played a lot of. I played a lot of Hades. I don't know what else. Kind of blanking right now on what games there are. Do you have a favorite, Cammy? All right, I need to do some art for this loot goblin, but I'm having fun just watching that little pink square run around. I might even make the loot goblin move faster when they're inside of in the looting state. So let's see. So let's do an enter state loot. Let's do velocity component dot add speed percent modifier string name loot float change 1.5. How does the speed percent modifiers get used? Okay, so I just need to add 0.5. So I'm going to make it 50% faster. Velocity component dot remove speed percent modifier. Loot. Okay, see if that works. Dead cells, yes, dead cells is a good one. Enter the Gungeon, Call to the Lamb. I just got into the genre. So far, I really like Neon Abyss, Hades, and Nordic Ashes. I saw Nordic Ashes. I almost bought that one day. Yeah, I can definitely recommend Tiny Rogues, though. That's like a little class-based RPG, arcade-style roguelike. It's pretty fun. Boom, give me that loot goblin. Okay, so now let's see if he goes faster when he's gonna pick up some things. He should get like a speed boost when he's going into loot mode. Okay, he did not get a speed boost. Why not? Yeah, I don't know why he's not getting a speed boost. Did I do something wrong? What happens if I turn this up to something ridiculous like 2? Is that going to be more noticeable? I don't know why that wouldn't be working, though. Oh, you know what? I know why it's not working. I don't have an enter state loot, that's why. I need to put that in there. That's why it's not working. Oh, okay. Add the loot golem passive. I need some gold. I guess I should have upped the gold drop rate, but I guess I don't really feel like hunting through the code to see where that is. Go get that rune. Okay, yeah, he's much faster now. Is he getting stuck on... It looked like he was getting stuck on the rats, but I don't know if that's true. Phantom gun! Gonna have so many allies. Make that the poison gun. Yeah, this is looking good. Looking very good. All right, let's start by, well, let's start just period doing some art for the loot goblin. I'm having so much fun just watching him go around and collect things though. This is going to be a very powerful passive. I had a couple of passive ideas like increased pickup area. Let's see, increased pickup radius, but I don't think I need that now that I have the goblin. I think that this can probably just be archived. I don't need to improve the player's pickup radius if you can get a goblin that can do it all for you. So it's a very powerful passive, but it also takes up a passive slot, right? So, you know, I think a lot of players are going to choose not to use it. But I think for players that are especially finding it difficult to like loot while they're trying to stay alive, that loot goblin is going to be a really good thing to have. Okay, so now we need to do the art for this. I'm going to first commit what I have. I haven't done any serious art for this game in a while, so I guess that's not true. I did some today. I made a, let's see. I made this totem for one of the affixes, so I think that looks decent. I kind of modeled it after the World of Warcraft shaman totem. I got an icon there too. But anyway, let's create a new file. And I like the size of this. Roughly, I like the size of this. Let's do a 20 by 20 canvas and we'll see what we can do with that. 20 by 20 canvas, here we go. Time to draw a goblin. Oh goodness, this is going to be difficult. What are you using to make the pixel art? Sprite, yep. Yeah, Sprite is great. I love Sprite. I think it's, I mean, you have to pay for it. It's like $15, but well worth the cost in my opinion. Actually, I just need a couple minute break before we start doing this art. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. In the meantime, let me do my typical pitch. If you're watching now or you're watching the VOD later, check out the links in the description below. I just released a new Godot C# course, which you can pick up if you're interested in doing so. And otherwise, liking, subscribing, watching my videos is a great way to support me. And I'll be back in just 1 or 2 minutes and we'll go ahead and draw up this goblin. So in the meantime, enjoy the sweet sounds of Lo-Fi Girl. All right, I'm back. Okay, so for this loot goblin, what do I want to do? So I actually want some kind of like, some kind of sack. So I'm just gonna, again, I'm not an expert at art, so you're probably gonna have to watch me struggle through this a little bit. Okay, we'll leave that as is. The goblin. So let's do little feats. And before I go too far, I'm going to save this. Loot Goblin. And I'm just going to go ahead and throw this on here so I can see how it's looking as I go and work on it. Okay. So, how am I going to do this? Okay, so we got little feats here. Now I gotta figure out what to do for his torso. I'll do a different color so I can differentiate it easier. I'm gonna need to make this wider. Probably gonna need to make him taller as well, but give him some kind of ears, maybe? His head is not a good shape. Yeah, I don't really know what to say here other than there's not really a method to how I put together art. I just kind of throw together shapes until I get something working. I think his body, bring it down a little bit. There we go. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. This, I kind of want this to be over his shoulder to some extent. Although I don't really know how to show that too well. I think the little goblin should have a bag like Golden Axe Gnome. Yeah, he's got a little bag here. Goblin of Diablo 3. Okay. So we've got something here. I wish I had a good way of like showing hands here somehow. Oh gosh. I'll change all these colors. Looks kinda... That looks kinda decent, I suppose. I'm just gonna use a totally different color for the ears here just to block them out. Okay. This might look a little bit clearer if I put eyes here. Is it gonna look clearer? Oh, that doesn't look good at all. I think I probably need to do something like a brow. There's not a whole lot of real estate here, so... Not a whole lot of real estate here. We'll mess with those colors later. This ear obviously is a terrible color as well. Oops. Yeah, I'll have to mess with these colors a little bit. Colors aren't looking that great. Shift around some of the legs here. That just looks weird. This will be temporary art for the goblins. No, this is the final art. I mean, it's not final yet. It's gonna get there. This is my process. This is how all the art in the game ends up looking prior to me being done with it. It takes a lot of finagling to get the art in a spot where it's acceptable. So, probably gonna be here a while. But there's a couple of big things that aren't here yet that kind of make... There's a couple of big things here that kind of make the, Sorry, I'm losing my concentration. There are a couple of things that I can add that usually make the art, one of which is an outline. So as soon as I add an outline, it just immediately looks better. But I need to do some more shape work before I do that. So this whole body here, probably going to do something different. Maybe, I don't know, would he look good in like overalls? Like if I just gave him overalls, would that... The hard part is differentiating the different parts of his body. There's not a whole lot of real estate here. You can do things like add outlines around the parts of his body that are sort of sticking out. Like I can do something like that. I don't know what to do about his face. I gotta do some work on his face still. But yeah. I haven't tried animating a Godot yet. Do you like it? Yes. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I like the tweens are very powerful, and the animation player is great as well. So yeah, I like them. I like working with animations in Godot. Actually, most of my animations in this game are done through tweens or animation players. Okay, so let's do something about just this coloration. We don't want to make him neon. I do think he would look better if he had some kind of like overalls. Overalls and like a white shirt. So if we do some overalls and then we give it like a shadow under there, that's immediately going to look better, but then we can also shade all of this down here. And then we can also give him like pants. Okay. And then we'll add some shading here. His feet look terrible. I don't know what to do about the feet. I could bring the pants down enough. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just keep that as is for now. Okay, I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there. We got him some overalls. Should we give him a belt? No, it's overalls. He doesn't need a belt. Okay. Let's do some of the shading here and see if that starts to bring the bag into a little bit of focus here. So if I do something like that. Don't want to go overboard with it, but This is the part where we just paint random things until it looks okay. Honestly, probably just like a thicker shading would be good. Wow, that shading does not look great. Yeah, that shading looks a little bit messy. I don't know what that's doing there. Okay, I think this is looking better, actually. Ooh, yeah, that looks all right. Yeah, it looks like there's a big ball of something right there. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, that looks decent. Not bad. Maybe some patches on the bag. Ooh, that's a good idea. Guessing you will def art states for this guy. State when he's following, looting. Are you basically just going to duplicate this and make tweaks for those states? I was going to see if I could get away with just animating this static sprite. And that's actually how most of my animations work. So if I go to my bodyguard, so this bodyguard is technically two different pieces. It's body and head. So he's got two different pieces, but his animation is literally just this. That's the animation. And so I was going to try to just get away with not even having multiple pieces for the loot goblin and just animating him similarly. But we're going to have to see how it works. I will cut him up if I need to. Okay, so I think this... What does this look like if I were to add an outline now? His face is the one thing that I'm like not sure about. Wow, making his face longer just actually helped quite a bit. This, I don't like this whole... I'm just gonna redo his face. I can't necessarily do that because his other eye would be on the other side. Maybe the ear can come forward a little bit. Or do I want the ear to come forward? Maybe not. Trying to create a brow and a mouth. Why is this hard? Why is this hard? Give him a really like old geezer face. Like he doesn't have his bottom teeth. This looks much goofier now, which could be to my favor. I don't know what I'm doing. Could I give him like a... I probably can't do like an open mouth thing. Give him like little teeths. The problem is that I don't know, I have to play with this. Beautiful animation, thank you. The bag looks like it needing some weight. Okay. Unrelated to Loot Goblin, but if someone picks up enough runes to fill up container, does a scroll bar appear? Yes. Well, a scroll bar does appear, but there also is a max you can carry. And the way that works is that if your runes exceed the maximum amount of runes you can carry at the end of a wave, they get automatically sold. So you can temporarily carry more runes than you can hold while you're playing the game, but after you've made your upgrade decisions and after you've finalized your build, any remaining runes that you have that exceed your inventory capacity, they get removed and you get gold for them. Bag also looks like a chicken drumstick. Whatever, man. Actually, I wonder if I change the colors a bit. Bag looks like it needs some weight. If I just shifted this over a little bit. Does that help now that it's more clearly aligned with him? I can't put an outline there. It helps a lot? Okay, yeah, it's because it doesn't look like it's floating anymore. It looks like it's resting up on him. I don't know about these colors, though. It's probably too dark. I don't have a whole lot of colors to choose from here. Yeah, I don't know. No, those are too bright. I'm just playing with the colors, I don't know. Don't really know what I'm doing here. Put those back, I suppose. Although well, what was the color I was using here? That color doesn't look bad. I gotta figure out his face, though. Can't get distracted with those things. Oh yeah, I was gonna try and put a patch on here as well. I don't know if there's... Well, I could try it. Anyway. Here for this arm. Give it a little bit of highlighting there. Or, I guess, shadow. I don't know. I don't know how to make... I don't know how to make his face. I'm sorry I wasn't making fun of it. That's alright. You can make fun of me. But I understand that you weren't. Alright, so let's see. Defo need that. I think the eye is just throwing me off here. If I just give him... He needs a mouth. Let's try this. Let's make his whole face just like Super bright green. Super bright green. Put an eye there. And then we can use a slightly... So that doesn't look too good, but when I add the outline, is that going to look good then? Gosh, why is this so difficult? Maybe his ears are just throwing me off here. Man. All right. It's time to break out Goblin pixel art. This guy's got ears as big as his head. Look at those goblins. Those are cute. Those are nice. I don't have that level of skill. This is an interesting face shape. Maybe something more like that is what I'm looking for. I see. Now how do I fit the mouth into here? Well, that's better. Because now I can sort of get some, like... But I think the eye still looks weird, because I don't really have that much space for, like, a... I think that highlight is throwing me off as well. Is there a different highlight color I can use instead of that? Or maybe it's not necessary. Well, he looks a little bit more loot goblin-y, I think. Now the question is, do I want to go darker with the ears here? No. The ear just doesn't look good now because it's the same color. The one carrying the pot looks similar to what you're going for. Let's see if I can find that. Oh yeah, this one. Yeah. That guy's cute too. Look at that. Maybe his head just needs to be bigger overall. Bigger and proportional to the rest of his body. I feel like the ears just need a little bit. Like, can I do this? This is going to be too dark, I think. Yeah, I can't do that. A wider head. Yeah, you might need... just for it to be bigger generally, so bring it up here. Just do a very crude. Okay. I think the ear is still off, but this is looking better, I think. Because I can fit some like mouth detail in there now. I don't know if that was possible before. Maybe I should use like a... No, I shouldn't use red. Maybe like, trying to add teeth to him. I don't think that's going to work. There's not enough room for that. Oops. I don't know, maybe that'll work. Gold teeth? Just like one single gold tooth or one right there? The one tooth kind of works. Oh no, I can't. I think the one tooth might work fine. Maybe it might work. I don't know, you kind of lose the mouth a little bit. Looks less like a goblin now, more like a dragon or something. Do I want to make the ears darker? I think that that helps. I just don't know what the inner ear would be like. Oh, the joys of having a limited color palette. That's all right. Need to make it taller. There we go. Well, the face is still not as well defined as I would like it to be. But I think it's probably all right. This arm now, probably, I think I want that arm to be wider. That looks better. Well, let's see what it looks like in game. Oh. Sweet. Center him a little bit better. Well, let's just see what that looks like in game. It's possible that this will be passable. Possible that it'll be passable. Let's go ahead and add him right now. Loot Goblin. Look at how cute he is. I wonder if I could get away with this. I wonder if I could get away with just making like a huge eye. Probably not. It looks deranged. Also doesn't look like a goblin much anymore. Give him a big ol' schnoz. Does that help? I might need to just redo his face entirely. I could definitely do something like that, but I don't really like how that looks either. What if I pointed his nose up? Would that help? No. I mean, it kind of does. That's a little bit better, actually. Actually, that's a little bit better. I feel like there's just not enough contrast in here. Like, it's hard to tell what's going on. Yeah, I think probably contrast is my main problem right now. That's why it looks like really muddy, is I just don't have enough differentiation. So there's a little bit of harsher shading there. Might be too harsh though. He doesn't appear to be friendly. Well, he's a goblin. When was the last time you met a friendly goblin? Hello, Ariane. Welcome, welcome. Well, I don't know. I'll probably have to play with this some more here. That looks a little bit better. Yeah. Nice. Okay, does that work? It still might be a little bit muddy, but I can more clearly make out facial features in the tiny example here. Oops, that's the wrong thing. I think that looks clearer. I mean, in the game scene, he seems to be an enemy. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a good point. What should I do to make him more friendly? Okay, he looks much more like a goblin now. Excellent. I think I'm happy with that art for now. Go, my loot goblin. Go loot things. Go. I think now is better. Good, yeah, I think this is how all my art goes. It starts off absolutely terrible, and then I have to gradually iterate until it gets better. I really envy the people that can, well, I don't really envy them, like, that's too strong of a word, but I admire the people that can just sit down and, like, the first thing they draw looks amazing, and then they're like, I don't really like it. And I'm like, no, I would kill to have your skill. Maybe someday. Maybe someday. I do believe, though, like, I think, you know, I started off with pixel art being just terrible, and it really doesn't take that much to become passable at it. You really just need to practice with forms and shapes, practice outlines, practice shading, get familiarized with color theory to some extent, and you can create pretty passable art with just developing those skills. So that's good news. Okay, should we animate this guy then? Excuse me. Let me commit what I've got first. So initial loot goblin work. I always get so paranoid, I take forever to draw something like that. And then I'm like, okay, I gotta commit it now because otherwise it's gonna, you know, it's gonna get lost or the power is going to explode, fry my PC, and I'm never going to get this little pixel art thing back. So always be committing. Let's call this the default animation. Okay, so I'm going to model this after the bodyguard animation to some extent. Can I copy? Wait a minute. Is it going to let me do this? Copy keys. Go to my loot goblin. So I need to go to my sprite. Let's add, first of all, visuals. I'm going to add a visuals node 2D. Okay, and then this sprite 2D, what we're going to do is we are going to do, what is it? Position, rotation, and scale. And then let's delete all those keys and paste keys. Oh, it's not going to work. Not all animation keys were compatible with their animation tracks. What are you talking about? Okay, we'll copy one at a time. Let's do the position first. Copy keys. Okay, that worked. Oh. Whoops. Okay. Copy the rotation keys. Probably will modify this a little bit, but just to get something to work with here. We want to loop this. Okay, one problem with this is that there's no tilt forward. There we go. Hopefully that didn't edit my bodyguard. Actually, maybe I'll apply that same... There's something weird going on here. Oh, that's the head. Oh, I copied the head. Oh. I didn't even copy the body animation. Interesting. These actually probably need to be reversed, if I'm being honest. 20. We'll just fix this while we're in here. Yeah, that looks much more natural. There we go. Okay. So the loot goblin now. We'll see how that looks in game. Might not look the best, but we'll see. Yeah, I copied the head value. That's right. I just noticed that. I think the bag should bounce a little as he walks, maybe put a different sprite. Yeah, I might do that. I'm going to see what it looks like in the game, because it can look weird in the inspector, but you'd be amazed at what you can get away with low resolution pixel art games and this kind of animation, because the crunchy pixelated nature of it will kind of like muddy it up a bunch, and it could actually make it look good, even though in the inspector it's like kind of weird. So we'll see how it looks in game, but then we'll definitely cut out the bag if it needs to be cut out, and we'll make that bounce a little bit as well. The other thing to consider too is that this is not like a major character in the game. This is a character that is going to spawn if you pick a very specific passive. And so like, you know, how much time should reasonably be spent on it, you know? So anyway, let's get this animation player working. Get facing. Visuals.scale equals get facing, yeah. Okay. So visuals.scale, cool, state, visuals.facing. Target position, yeah, okay, there's that. And then in our state idle, do the same thing there. Same thing there. Okay, so enter state idle, animation player dot play. Let's create private read only string name anim reset. Okay, so enter state follow, animation player dot play anim default. Enter state idle, play, anim reset. Enter state loot, animation player dot play, anim default. Okay. Well, let's see if that works. So let's go ahead and play the game. Alrighty. Inward we go. Add passive loot goblin. Look at him wobbling around. He's so cute. Go loot for me. Oh, there's no loot on the ground, but there he goes. He got one. Look at how cute he is. Oh my gosh. Loot goblin plushies when? Thank you, Sound of Silence. Yeah, I don't know. What do you all think? Should I go a little bit extra in terms of the animation, or do you think that this little squash and stretch animation works out fine? I could animate that bag that he's carrying. Let's see him. Let's go. Let's see if he goes and loots some more stuff for us. Looks too similar to your character's animation. Confused with enemies because of the color of the enemies. Maybe change the color of the bag to brown. The bag is brown. Hello, Real Crudo. Are your art sprites all in 16 by 16 pixels? No, it's variable. I think the tile here is 32 by 32. I think I'm basing everything on a 32 by 32 grid, so things are around that size. But let's see if we can change this bag color, because it does look like the rat enemies. Problem is, I only have... These are all the colors I have to choose from. So, I don't have that much freedom here. Oops. It looks orange to you. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like an orangish brown, yeah. I mean, these, I don't know how well you can see this on stream, but like these colors up here, I've got like these oranges to play with, and then these are the browns I have. And that's basically all I have in terms of a brown color. So I could make it a little bit more of a neutral color, like gray or something, perhaps. But I don't know if that necessarily looks better. But it's definitely not an enemy color now. And I could use a purple instead of that to give it a little bit more. Could try maybe that color. It's a little bit more muted. That's awesome, looking amazing. Is there any way I can support the development process in the future? Because I would like to support you, sir. You like that color bag better? So, Real Cruda, thank you so much for the comment. I'm gonna feature your comment on the stream because it's interesting that you would say that, because I have several Udemy courses available for purchase. Those are in the links in the description below. Also, I have a C# course. It just came out. So Godot and C#, you can pick that one up. It's still on discount. So if you use the link, that's the first link in the description below, you can do that. Otherwise, if you want to support my work, honestly, the best way you can do that is, even if you're not interested in taking the courses, you can buy a course, because those funds still go to me. Just make sure to use my referral link. So make sure you use a link in the description below if you're going to do it that way. You could send in super chats if you want, or you can go and buy one of my games on Steam. I like that kind of setup. I don't like asking for straight donations, because I would much rather have a product that you can buy where you're simultaneously supporting me and you're also getting something apart from just like the videos and streams. So I would say that, of course, I appreciate the super chats. Don't get me wrong. I like the super chats. Send me super chats if you want. But I like to point you guys in the direction of my courses and my games. So if you want to take a look at those, you can definitely check those out. But if nothing sounds interesting to you and you still want to financially support me, then yeah, super chats are a great way to do it. And for those people who can't financially support me or don't want to, that's completely fine, totally understandable. I myself I canceled a lot of my subscriptions and my discretionary spending now that I don't have a job. But watching my videos, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, those are all great ways to support me as well, because the more of an audience I have, the more popular my videos get, the more people I can, reach out to with my courses and my games and whatnot. So everything, even something as simple as liking the video, helps. Every little bit helps. I will buy all 3 of your games once you get paid for the month, sir. All right, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, you like that that bag color? I think that does look better. It's a little bit more muted. It still looks like a bag. At least it's different from the enemies. Good, okay. Yeah. I'm happy with that bag. I don't really think the little guy needs more animation, because I think, anyway, when you're going to have him, you're going to be running around. You're not really going to be paying attention to him as a player anyway. The important thing is that there's the impression of an animation there. And that's kind of the approach that I'm taking for everything. Like, if you were to analyze how I'm animating a lot of these things, you'd be like, that's it, that's all you're doing. And yeah, you can get away with a lot. That's what I'm discovering. It's like the most important thing when you're making a game is consistency. As long as all of your animations look the same, they can actually be quite bad from like a technical or animation perspective, but as long as it fits with the style of your game, people aren't really going to notice it. And this is why games like Cruelty Squad, like you could say from a from an objective standpoint, it looks ugly, but because it's like all, you know, because it's all cohesive and coherent, it doesn't actually turn people off, really. That's what I've learned anyway, so I don't know. I don't know, maybe other people have different opinions. Are all the graphics, textures, pixel art made custom by you? Yeah, the vast majority of them. I have a couple of icons for key bindings, like keyboard icons, that I got from like a pixel art icon pack, but those are the only things that I haven't done myself. Thank you, Real Cruda. Yeah, I appreciate that. Sorry for my super chat. Thank you so much. What is that? I don't know what R1090 is, but thank you so much. I very much appreciate that. I'll feature your comment there. You like the new comment featuring? How long did it take me to learn pixel art? I'm still learning it. I mean, I wouldn't say that I've mastered it or gotten to a point of competency even. Well, maybe the point of competency, I could give myself that, but I'm still learning. Like there's new tricks that I'm learning every day. I still have a hard time doing pixel art without having a predefined color palette that I get from somewhere else. But I would say that to get to the point that I'm at now, it's been a couple years. You really have to like sit down and practice and watch YouTube videos, figure out like what the theory is behind it. My classic advice for people that want to get good at pixel art is start with a 1-bit color palette. So start with black and white and start on like a 16 by 16 or a 32 by 32 canvas and just try to draw anything using those two colors, because what that does is that eliminates all of this choice that you have, like the millions of RGB colors that you can choose, right? It limits it to 2, which really forces you to focus on like, how do you make every pixel count? You know, if I'm trying to make a frog and fit that in a 32 by 32 grid, like 32 by 32 canvas with only 2 colors, you have to really think hard about like, how do I actually convey the shape of this thing using the 2 colors that I have? You will, in my experience, you will learn so much quicker doing that, and then you can gradually introduce colors once you've gotten a hang of that. So you get the form down with the 1-bit color palette. Once you feel comfortable with that, then go to like a 4-color color palette or an 8-color color palette and see how you can, even using disparate colors, how you can use like colors that wouldn't necessarily go together for like highlights and shadows, right? I don't know if that's helpful at all, but that's what I've found. The more constraints you put on yourself, especially earlier on in the learning process, the faster you learn because there's less variables, right? You know that people can make good art with 2 colors, with a 1-bit color palette. You know that's possible. And so you should be able to do it as well. And you don't need to worry about choosing your colors or anything. You just need to focus on making the art look good. Also, there is a good book called Pixel Logic. It's from the guy who made Cassette Beasts. Oh, very nice. Maybe I'll look into that. I need to tone down that fire effect. Go loot Goblin. Loot for me. I think he's getting stuck. Oh, you know what? I think he's pathfinding around the enemies, I think. Or he's doing navigation agent avoidance, which is fine. I'm not going to necessarily worry about that. It just looks like he gets stuck on the enemies sometimes. Oops. I'm about to die. I'm about to die. Nice. Blazing Trails again. Oh, I'm gonna do Zap again though. I'm not getting any DPS parts. I also wasn't really paying attention, so I probably lost or missed out on a bunch of good ones. There's a even free page of Saints 11 with everything about pixel art and all the techniques. Dang, I gotta look that up. Yeah, I'm in trouble here. I don't have any damage, really. Ow. I'm in trouble. My loot goblin's doing work, though. Nope. I'm dead. Get dunked on. I've got a couple of errors in here. Oh, that's just related to, yeah, the end screen being broken. Cool. All right, I'm going to commit that. Loot goblin animations. No grenades or bombs. No, I don't have that as a feature. I mean, there are affixes you can get that shoot grenades, but there's no like active grenades or bombs you can throw. That is a good idea, but unfortunately I'm kind of in the mode where I have to watch my scope, so I'm not really going to be adding anything. I'm basically just going to be going through this backlog and just picking out the items that are critical to have done for the full game. And so I'm kind of like in a ruthless cut mode where I'm not... There's so many cool ideas that I want to do, but I kind of have to just like focus and just get it done. So anyway, I think that will be it for the stream for tonight. I'm going to go chill. That looks like a lot. Yeah, well, most of that's going to get cut. I'm just kind of like pruning it down slowly over time. But anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for the stream. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you to everyone who has bought the course or is going to buy the course. Thank you to everyone that subscribed, liked, watched my videos, hung out in this chat, chatted with me. Even if you're a lurker and you're just hanging out, thank you all, everyone. Very much appreciate your support, and thank you, Joshua. You love the C# course. That's great to hear. Feature your comment. But yeah, thanks again, everyone. Check the links in the description again. Hit that notification bell. Probably will be streaming tomorrow at some point, so keep an eye out. And I'll see you all in the next one. All right, have a good night or good day